What if I told you a cop while on duty pulls up to a man's home, decides to shoot him in cold blood, put him in the trunk, and then drive him to the lake, put his body in the lake. Oh, by the way, he enlisted the help of somebody else in the process of this. Put it up full mask. In Memphis, Officer Patrick Ferguson now faces federal charges for allegedly kidnapping and murdering a man while he was on duty, decided to then dispose of the body in a river. He was indicted on 8 counts of federal civil rights, kidnapping, and weapons offenses for the deadly shooting that actually took place in 2021. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. There are additional details that will make your blood boil. Authorities say that on January 5th, 2021, Officer Ferguson went into a home belonging to 30-year-old Robert Lee Howard, abducted him at gunpoint, according to Law and Crime. He then forced Mr. Howard to the back of his squad car, shot him in the head at that point. The federal indictment states that Officer Ferguson then enlisted the help of a man named Joshua Rogers to cover up the murder, accessory after the fact. Rogers has also been charged in connection with the murder. He and Rogers allegedly chucked Mr. Howard's body into the Wolf River in Memphis, then took the car used to transport the body to a scrap metal dealership to then have it destroyed, thinking they were getting rid of the evidence. Howard's girlfriend reported him missing the next day. This was January 10th, 2021. Authorities found Howard's body. Ferguson and Rogers were arrested a few days afterwards. Investigators found search history on Ferguson's phone about how to clean up crime scenes, how to destroy evidence. This is all part of a probable cause affidavit obtained by the Memphis Commercial Appeal. Now, here's the other thing. A state grand jury, they did charge with first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, official misconduct, and official oppression. The state also charged Rogers with accessory after the fact, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. Rogers also faces federal accessory and evidence tampering charges for allegedly conspiring with Ferguson to hide evidence of the shooting. Now, police have not yet released their theory of a motive for the killing. When Ferguson was arrested, he gave up his Miranda rights. I need you to hear this. He gave up his Miranda rights. So he waives Miranda and confessed. Let me say that again. He waived Miranda and confessed that he went to Howard's home, forced him into the back of his police car, and procured Rogers' help to move the body. Ferguson posted a $400,000 bond in June 2023 and is currently awaiting trial. How does this individual confess to the crime? It is an egregious crime, no one would argue. He's in a position of public trust. And you know, my philosophy is very simple here. If you are in a position of public trust, responsibility should be higher, not lowered for you. That's how it works if you're a psychiatrist or a medical doctor or any other profession. You have a higher standard of accountability and responsibility, not a lower one, except in the profession of policing. Only profession where you actually get a lower standard of accountability for your actions adverse to the public trust. So he confesses, it's egregious, and he's allowed to post a $400,000 bond. Police released no theory as to why he did this. Sounds like a hit, just all context included. what is this about? How did this happen? How does a Memphis police officer get caught up in doing this? You think this is the first time he has done it? With the ease of a mob hitman. Where's the investigation into his historical dynamics? Where are the elements of his, well, let's just say use of force history with the department? None of these things are available for the public record. Why? I got questions. I don't accept stories just based on face value. There are many more stories to this. No theory whatsoever. That means you have no motive? All right. Tehran, this is a hell of a story. One of the most ironic stories when you actually start digging into the why, because you can't find one. And then he gets a bond after admitting to a heinous crime, and you can't find a reason why he was still allowed to have a bond. Dear brother, what are your thoughts?
When I first heard about this story, I thought it was the script for Training Day 2.
Exactly.
Because this is a movie. This isn't a real life story. This is a police officer who clearly abused their power. And we use the term allegedly because, of course, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. But he waived Miranda. Right. He confessed to the crime. There isn't a lot of alleged identity to this crime. I know that's not a word, but this shouldn't be a story. So the idea that I have is, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And most importantly, how is he out in the street? If there was a motive, and this is why we get motive when it comes to crime, because then we can say this happened, and therefore we can determine the likelihood of it happening again. We don't have a motive in this case. That means there's a high likelihood it could happen again. That's why we keep hitmen in jail. So how is this hitman back on the streets?
So well said, dear brother. Naturally, we're going to stay on top of this story, bring you updates as they come. I will hopefully provide an update later this week.